Good morning. Happy Tuesday. So it's the 24th of March, and I'm adjusting my cameras here. Welcome, everybody, to our daily 9 a.m. live show where I report natural health news to equip you and your families to be healthy and safe during this pandemic. And today, we're going to talk about how to minimize your viral exposure and improve your immunity and look at using natural medicine, natural herbs, and natural therapies to help decrease and lower your risk of potential viral infection within your body. So welcome all of you. We've got Instagram, we've got YouTube Live. So for all of you tuning in, tell me, where are you watching? What state, what city, what country? We have a significant international community. It's always really exciting to see who's tuning in. So I see Wendy, I'm up early. Good morning. Good morning. And Naked Talk with Jess. Good morning. So for all of you on YouTube, comment down below. Let me know where you're tuning in. Give me a thumbs up. This is always helpful for the algorithm. We've got Oklahoma, Molly, and California. Oh, it's early. Good morning, Molly. And Arkansas, and we've got Alberta and Florida and Texas and Georgia. Hey, Georgia coming in right here too. And Chino Hills. Okay, so welcome all of you. I want to dig into some news because we've got a little bit more information. You know, I'm working off of my kind of war notebook. So this is every day I've got notes to the news, the data of our cases. This morning is going to be impactful with some key news. And then we're going to dig right on into how to bolster and support your body to protect you and lower your risk of viral infections, which is what we are dealing with globally. That's this global crisis. So currently, the United States has had a significant increase because we are getting more testing done. With that yields more results. And right now, in a day, we've had over 10,000 cases, almost 10,000 increase. So we're at 44,786. So we're almost at 45,000 cases here in the U.S. That's a significant expansion. The World Health Organization released today, Tuesday. So, you know, they're in Europe. They released today that they feel that the potential for the U.S. is that we will be the epicenter of this crisis. So I have to apologize. It's either our trash or recycling pickup. Looks like our trash. They were not here yesterday. So they're here this morning. You're going to hear all sorts of crazy noises in the background. Because I, like you, I'm working from home. We have our toddler upstairs doing his school, and then Brian's going to be working. We kind of switch off our scheduling. Okay, so the U.S. has definitely we're on an increase, and 85%, the World Health Organization said 85% of the new cases are coming out of Europe and the United States. Right now, 1 in 3 Americans have been ordered to stay at home. So all of you who are hashtag staying at home, tagging as such on Instagram and hunkering down, there's a lot of us doing that. We're now over 100 million Americans that are in this hunker down phase. I think there's more. Wednesday, there are additional orders, like Hawaii's ordered it, Louisiana, Oregon. So they're giving their citizens a few days to kind of prepare for the hunkering down, but more states are coming on board with that. And the interesting kind of status that we're at right now is that we're in that exponential growth phase. And I was going to chart this out. I actually had to help Gabriel a little bit more this morning because Brian's he's a little slower this morning than normal. So I was going to chart out the exponential growth on my chart. I'll list this tomorrow, I promise, in my little chart that I have, the exponential growth factor. But the World Health Organization released the stats. So, you know, they're accumulating all the data, and that the exponential growth from the day one that we had an acknowledged case, and that still there's dispute. There are probably more cases that haven't been identified. We don't have antibody testing yet to determine who might have been exposed before this was acknowledged. But at least 67 days from that first case, acknowledged case, to the point that we globally hit 100,000 cases, it took 67 days. Then to double that, it just took 11 days. And then to more than double that, almost triple, almost triple that. No, yes, almost triple that, 4 days. So we'll probably see, in the way this is charting, 2 days, we'll probably jump into the 600,000s. And with that being, with that awareness, the US more than likely, as well as some of these European countries, will be contributing 85% of those new cases. So exponential growth is epidemiological data that showcases the exponential spread. And the factor that we talked about in the beginning, this has gotten a little washed off, but this was the factor I showed you guys first thing last week. The factor was a factor of 3. They're anticipating now is between 5 and 10. So for every one positive case, they were initially, it was 3 people were impacted. Now we're saying 1 to 5, 5 to 25, or potentially 1 to 10, 10 to 100, and then just exponential growth that way. So testing, unfortunately, we don't have enough tests. And because of that, we don't have quality data. We know something about it, but we don't have the bigger picture. And that is a challenge. And that's why we have to, as a country, be very diligent about our antiviral activities and minimizing the transmission and really lowering our viral risk. Because it's not just about, hunkering down for a period of time. It is a crazy, I've been reading more and more and watching more about like the actual virology, I think is the name of it, but the virus and what happens when an animal-based virus mutates and morphs from an animal to a human host. It's really kind of crazy. And that's why this is so intense and the response. This is not like a normal flu because of just the nature of the viral moving from host animal to human and then multiplying. And we acknowledge there are 2 strains of this. And I mean, I don't think we as a community know the data about the testing if we were even determining for both strains. Okay, so I have a question. Forever grateful. Do you think Trump will reduce his measures as he said last night? This made me so stressed out watching and listening to him. I think we all should remain bunkered down. So I try not to be political on this, and I really blasted people for being political in the comments. I'll tell you my thoughts. I was disappointed that the kind of the international leading resource in infectious disease, who's housed here, he's like a national treasure in this world. Dr. Fauci was not there. I think that is very telling. I think we need to hear his voice. I think we've heard his voice. We heard it on Friday. He was projecting this to be 3 to 4 months of closures and minimizing the risk. So there's a lot of variables. I won't go into that, but I think that's why today's topic, I really want to encourage people to consider the longer haul and to be very cognizant of just the nature of this. The spread, the exponential spread is something, the only way to offset it is to have a very significant minimization of transmission. And that comes in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different ways to do this. As a small business owner, I look at at least here, I frequent a lot of local businesses. I have friends locally who own businesses. And I think the ones that will do okay are going to be the ones that make the switch, like Gabriel School is making a switch to digital classes. The faster you can transition and move and use technology, we're going to see big changes. Like Brian and I were talking about this, and then I'll go back to our normal programming. Brian and I were on the couch yesterday talking about this, and he was like, this is going to change everything. Like we're going to see major changes. Like every evening, I'm usually ordering something online. And sometimes through my, local vendors or through, my local stores, like small business stores that are international or domestic in their orientation. So I'm frequenting these and supporting them, but I'm doing it online versus maybe in person. And he was like, this is going to change everything. And it will. And I think like Ivy has communicated, we have to listen to the experts. And the experts are medical practitioners, they're healthcare providers, they're virologists, so those are scientists that study viruses. We also need to look at infectious and listen to the infectious disease community, the CDC, they're housed here in Atlanta. And we also need to listen to the World Health Organization. So I think the challenge here in the US is it's getting wrapped up into a lot of political banter. And then I think we're trying to message something that we can't control a virus. So anyway, let's go into our normal programming. So here's some news that I thought was noteworthy. One, the cruise ships, the Princess cruise ship, I think it's owned by Carnival. They had, massive cases. They were in different countries that were, they dock and then they'd have case growth inside the ships, and then they got everybody off. So scientists, these medical experts have gone in and they have assessed the ship, and they tested, this is so insane, friends. They tested the surfaces. This is 17 days after all these people left the ship. They still found live virus activity on surfaces 17 days later. So that tells us a lot about potential transmission. When we talk about why we need to bunker down, hunker down, stay in, stay home, it's this transmission rate we don't really know a lot about. Like initially it was like, oh, you're fine as long as you wash your hands because there's a lipid shell to the virus, and soap, the emulsification of the soap breaks that down. We know that, 70% alcohol versus 90 or 100, 70% it'll break down that shell. But beyond that, like how thorough are people washing their hands? How thorough are they cleaning surfaces? And respiratory droplets, that's every breath. It's not even sneezes and coughs, it's breathing. I mean, you go outside in a cold day and you see the respiratory droplets because of the air. It's warmer coming out of your body than the air outside. So that tells us a lot. I think we're going to be seeing more development in that. So I don't want to cause alarm, but I just want to tell you, this is the progression. We're going to learn more and more every day. So, the surface life was over 17 days. Still, it was alive on the cruise ships. That's significant. The other thing that I'm now reading about as people are surviving and they are recovering from the virus, their symptoms are really the like during that experience, and then as they're on the upswing of feeling better, the symptoms are really interesting. They lose, and right now it's a projected 10 days, but who knows, again, this is such a young virus. We might see different symptoms, but currently the commentary for a lot of folks who are on the upswing of recovery, they comment that they lose their sense of smell and their taste. And I was looking for a statistic and I couldn't find one. So I don't know if that's been specifically studied, but I was really assessing a lot of the feedback and commentary from folks just online. It was kind of consistent: loss of smell, loss of taste. So that leads us to say, okay, let's say there's somebody in your community, work environment, family member who may have had it, can't get tested. Ask them, how's your sense of smell? Can you taste? Like, there's that connection between our nose and our tongue and our taste buds. So that is something I think we need to, it might become one of those things that we're going to hear more about. Generally, you hear it here first, or at least in the beginning, and then it gets transmitted out there. But there's this underlying sense that people lose their smell and their taste. And that supposedly that comes back within 10 days. So, but it makes sense. The virus is mostly a respiratory virus. It probably is from some of the inflammation. It could very well be just the nature of the way the virus, I was explaining the other day, the virus, it actually has this like stinger, and that's how it reminds you of a mosquito. It implants into mucosal tissue and into us, the host. It implants its DNA. That DNA may end up being like a nerve kind of sedative or blocker or something that affects like the sensation of the ability to smell and taste. So I wanted to put that out there because I think we're going to see more. News-wise, the U.S. airlines are, I think yesterday and today, they're drafting plans potentially for a voluntary shutdown. So doesn't appear that we're going to have any major governmental federal level national shutdowns. I think that's been made really clear yesterday. And we're going to be seeing state and local bodies, the governing entities, they're going to be in control of our stay-at-home order, our locking down, our minimizing of coming and going. I do want to make a note because I have a lot of folks who tune in from Texas. Texas is up there. They have 803 cases. The lieutenant governor made a statement yesterday after the press conference yesterday around dinner time that he is willing to exchange the survival of his Texans in exchange for the economic impact. And so that is really scary that we are hearing banter in this regard where the economy is much more important than human survival. So that's just kind of where things are here. So I am going to tell you what I'm going to do here because, you know, I haven't really left the house. I left the house twice in the last 10, 12 days. I mean, we've been outside, but in the car and out and about. And it really is unnerving to me when I see, and I know our community members here in our neighborhood, people are out and about and they're still engaging in the public settings. They're still shopping. Asked us from Athens, are you noticing this in Athens? It doesn't seem like Georgia, particularly the Atlanta area, is taking this seriously. Even though last night, our mayor of Atlanta, we don't live in Atlanta, we live in a northern suburb, but the Atlanta mayor last night issued a stay-at-home order for 14 days. So she is taking her mayoral powers and is seeking to protect people because there were reports from the Emory University, the infectious disease community at Emory. They posted that we are, I think, 10 days out. Sorry, I'm having allergies, so I don't want you. I have to wipe my nose. We're 10 days out from a healthcare crisis here in Georgia. And I think this is very much similar to what other states are feeling. Georgia happens to have, it was 803 cases this morning. In the neighboring county, like our backyard is the county line. Our neighbors up here, the other part of our neighborhood, there's 153 cases in Fulton County. We have 24 in my current county. And then, 2 miles away, we're at this weird like triangle. We touch 3 counties. So we're all shopping. All 3 counties are shopping at the same supermarkets and same Targets and eating at Chick-fil-A. That county has 79 cases. It's pretty crazy. So if you live in New York is in full-on crisis mode. They have 23,000 cases. They comprise over half of the current cases. And California and Washington were like moving up, but they've been able to it looks like they've slowed down their numbers. So California and Washington are both at 2,200. Like California is at 2,220. Washington's at 2,221. So, I think we can look at the impact of being more diligent. And Washington was our first significant impact. New York, more condensed populations. And so that's kind of what happens when we're not seeing these lockdowns. I do want to state that there is a state, Oregon. They only have 191 cases. And I don't say that only in like minimizing, but that state's going into lockdown. They were one that passed on Wednesday. They're going to be in lockdown. And that is a great response. Even though they're not in the 500, 400 plus, on the US map, they're not in red, but they don't want to be there and they don't want to overwhelm their community and the healthcare community. And that's really the thing that is impactful. I've been seeing a lot of on feeds, a lot of people are making masks. I posted this. This comes from online Deaconess Medical. They've got CDC approved masks. So if you are a sewer, you can contribute locally. You can even mail these in, but they are accepting masks that are being made by people. I've seen even really savvy folks that, we're, in it together or stronger together or whatever, the different sayings. But this was available on another video that I posted, I think last week or over the weekend. So Dale said, the response from our mayor was pretty lame, won't close anything. Yeah, Florida is dealing with that right now. And there's apparently a battle between, I grew up in the St. Pete, Tampa area. So I have a lot of friends down there. One of my friends, her husband's an ER doc. And so he's tuned in. And I asked them yesterday, there was a comment. Oh my gosh, I think the squirrel is back, friends. He has this like routine. I'm looking at my bird feeder. I have the attack of the squirrels. What I'm going to do, just so you guys can see what all I see, I might end up setting up my office a little bit differently. So next time you tune in, it might be a different backdrop. But what's happening in Florida is that certain mayors are there's like a mayoral kind of battle. So communities are getting mad in Florida. Like the idea of people having to shut down in Florida, there's tourism. It's very much a service-based industry. I saw feeds of friends that I know and folks I networked with, previous customers and patients of ours, that were like, they're taking away our civil liberties. And that is, unfortunately, that is definitely fear-based. And it's a viable concern, but you still get to do all the same things. It just changes for a period of time. And the sooner we all get hunkered down and allow this first wave to go through, the virus isn't going to go away. It's just going to evolve, but it minimized just the status of like New York. And Florida is even now, and folks fly in from New York, I think it's New York and New Jersey, but for sure New York, they're actually quarantining these tourists for 2 weeks. So they should have done that in the beginning of spring break, because I think 12 or 14% of Florida cases are tourists. And again, I've got my keto coffee. Can't really see, I didn't really blend it well, but my keto coffee is on tap this morning. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm going to be calling and writing our Roswell mayor. I'm going to call our governor's office. I'm going to call, as a citizen, a concerned citizen, I'm going to urge them to take measures to protect our community at whole. And I think that's an opportunity, if you feel so inclined. We all pay taxes and we all get a say and we get to vote, and we also get the chance to call our officials. And that's what I'm personally going to be taking on today, because I'm enraged that our community is not taking this seriously. And apparently it's going to have to take some sort of government intervention for them to get serious. So anyway, let's dig into, I have 7 steps, friends, of how to minimize viral invasion and to lower your viral risk and to really bolster your body to keep you healthy during these perilous times. So number 1, and this is kind of a category, there's like two in this, but number 1 is to just lower your transmission. The best way to lower your transmission is to be in the hashtag stay at home. Shoot me a message, comment down below, hashtag stay at home. If you guys are in that mode right now or are beginning it, just let me know. And Lois is on one of our community members. As of tomorrow, there's a 2-week quarantine for anyone coming to Hawaiian Islands. And Hawaii is going into lockdown. Are you guys in lockdown? I think you guys were coming up on tomorrow, right? Okay, we've got Mark, he's staying at home. We've got Carrie, Lynn Hu, staying at home. A lot of folks, we will see 1 in 3 of you, potentially more, 1 in 3 of you. And we've got Dubai, Blue Zakaro, and we've got Sue and Dale and Kim Montgomery, stay at home except for necessary trips to grocery. I totally get it. So that is the most and most impactful. Staying at home, hunkering down, minimizing outbound impact. I posted one of our videos last week. One of our lives was really for the frontline professionals, those in customer service, those in the hospitals, those in our pharmacies and our grocery stores, because they're doing the work. We've got Anita, one of our truckers here, who is transporting goods all over. She was in Utah and Colorado, and she's moving products to get us and keep us safe. So number 1, staying at home is key, and we have to take that upon ourselves, because I don't think we're going to see any impact from our government. So that's 1. Number 2 is protecting yourself. I did a whole YouTube video on, wearing masks, and it's not just wearing masks. Like, I kind of get cringed out when I see pictures, masks for sure. We want to cover our nose and our mouths, But eyes, we need to protect our eyes. So protective goggles, eyewear, glasses, even sunglasses. If you can have it where the sides are here, folks have gotten really inventive. People have put up like little plastic or cardboard, when they're going out and about, but definitely protecting the mucosal membranes of the face, eye, nose, and mouth. That's a transmission rate. The other thing, I'm going to do a specific video on this, are cell phones. Nobody has been talking about cleaning our cell phones. Nobody's talking about where is your cell phone touching. Just knowing that potentially there's a 17-day lifespan or more of the virus from like those cruise lines, that tells us if you're out and about and you put your cell phone on a countertop, let's say you're out at the grocery store, you got to run to the bathroom, and there are reports of the fecal oral transfer too, which is a whole nother communication point. But you put your cell phone down, maybe on the counter. You don't sanitize it, but you wash your hands. You're doing all good. You pick up your phone. Your phone's got potential of transmission. Touching your phone, you're texting, la, la, la. The back of your fingers to touch the back of your phone that might have been down. And then all of a sudden you touch your eye. Boom, that's a transmission point. So we have to be really cognizant. So I will tell you, I read an article of I think it came out 2 days ago, but I read an article from a journalist who called all these different doctors. I'm putting some lotion on my hands. She called all these doctors and different scientists, and even called Apple and the Android people, Samsung, and said, even though they recommend not to use alcohol or Clorox wipes on the phones, Apple's actually lifted that recently, saying that it won't actually hurt your phone. The consensus from medical providers was that if you use at least 70% alcohol on the surface, it would clean it. Then they also said, don't forget the cases. So, we got potential transmission points in the kind of crevices of your case. So I thought that was really interesting. And I'm going to do a specific video of keeping your phones clean during this, because that's another point we need to consider, is that whole transmission. Number 2, so we're protecting ourselves, we're not going out. Disinfection. So talking about what qualifies as a valid disinfectant. So we know at least 75% alcohol is enough to kill the shell. You'd want to put that on a rag or a cotton ball and use that to clean the items that you're seeking to clean. Hand washing, the antibacterial hand washing, and even just regular, like I've had questions about Castile soap. That's a totally perfect, viable soap option. The emulsifying action of soap is what breaks down that shell. Alcohol as well, or ethanol. We also see like bleach, and even 0.1%. What is it called? I have it here. Hydrogen peroxide. So those are all valid. Then you get into like the force of nature. This is another valid option. This is a natural cleaner that combines salt, vinegar, and water. And you put it in this little beaker that it gets electrolyzed. So it actually changes the chemical composition, and it turns those properties into a natural but very powerful killing solution for the coronavirus. And it's been EPA approved for the human coronavirus, and it's been effective. That's what we're using as well. So this is a good recommendation. Miss Haddix to you says, don't take purse into a store. I put credit card and driver's license in my pocket. That's a good tip. Mark, what is a safe antivirus cleaning supply to use on surfaces? Something effective but safe for the surfaces. So this would be a good one for the non-porous. That's a big thing. There's porous, which is a whole, like if you haven't sealed your granite, or even like if a vendor hasn't sealed a granite, you should be sealing your granite every year. There are a lot of people who don't. This would be really helpful, force of nature. The other thing that I have to look and see if they're on Amazon, but like Miracle Cleaner, like Miracle 2, it's a real heavy professional grade natural cleaning solution. I get that through our clinic supply vendor. I ordered, I think, 2 of those recently, and they're not coming to us until I think middle of April. So things are out, obviously, and especially patient-facing facilities, they are prioritizing the need. Oh, I did. Oh, I got your name correct. Okay, good. All right. So those are those 2 things. So frontline protection. Don't go out. Stay home. Protect your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. Clean. Wash your hands, and your phones. And I'm pointing because my phone's how my Instagram community comes up live. So friends, first of all, let's take a quick little break and give me a thumbs up if you guys like it here on YouTube. Please hit the share button. And for all of you on Instagram, it is helpful if you want to just do like a screen grab and then post this to your stories even after the fact. Tag me at Natural Health Resources. That helps me get the word out. We're really trying to push this out to as many people as we can. We are seeing huge censorship on YouTube. They have deemed the different terms for the virus as sensitive. And so they're demonetizing all content. They're not pushing it out in the YouTube sphere. So it just really helps the algorithm if you share and you like. So I appreciate that. Okay, so number 3, I want to talk to you about just immune boosting kind of antivirals. There are a lot of good natural plants and herbs that are powerful at bolstering and supporting our body and protecting our bodies from viruses. So first, want to talk to you about things like garlic, propolis, also echinacea. That's a really powerful herb. Olive leaf extract is also powerful. Zinc. So there are certain minerals that we know if you have deficiency in minerals like zinc, that your frontline protection is not as optimum. So your immune response to bacteria or viral invasion is weakened. So boosting your zinc intake, and Zicam is an example. There are a lot of little swabs and chewy things and capsules. But overall, increasing your zinc intake is not a bad idea. Getting a full-fledged, powerful mineral, like liquid trace mineral complex is huge. So that, I want to put that out there because these are things that are still, you can buy online. We still have these in our full script store. I've got links to that. That's my online clinic store. It's all professional grade. We give 10% off all of the products all the time. So you just get into the store, name and email, and then you've got access to buy anything that you want. They even have pet supplies in there. Colloidal silver is something that I have recommended doing in like a saline neti wash, or even they've got a colloidal spray, gargle with colloidal. That's very healing and protective of your throat, as well as minimizing some of that tonsil lymphatic impact. And then also neem, and I'm going to show you one of my favorites. So the liquid neem. Neem is one of the Ayurvedic herbs I mentioned last week. Neem is a very good antimicrobial, and even moringa. And I'm going to do a specific video on moringa. It actually grows everywhere in tropical communities. In Florida, it's everywhere. We had trees in our yard. So those are some really good antivirals for many of you. I think I have a link down below in YouTube description, but like the super lysine is one of my favorites for just bolstering your immunity and protection, because it has the L-lysine, which is an amino acid. So amino acids are crucial because what we have to think about, we need our minerals, and that enhances enzymatic reactions, but we also need amino acids. They not only help break down protein that we're consuming in our body, and then metabolic proteins, but it also can help break down proteins from a viral shell. So, as I mentioned, the virus has a protective shell. Those shells, like cancer cells, they tend to be protein-based. So having increasing your intake of amino acids are very helpful for that. So that's really, really big. Also, aromatherapy, and this is something I want to say, the antivirals, we know that they do have certain properties. So there's clinical data there. Aromatherapy doesn't necessarily have the clinical data and the research to say, okay, this absolutely is an antiviral. But I do know that we see like clove oil, internal clove as an ingredient it's one of my anti-parasitic protocols. So clove is always in that to release a pathogen from us, the host. And in the same vein, clove is also very bolstering and warming to our body, which very helps it helps our immune system. So like clove oil, oil of oregano in diffusing. And I have one of my, I took it upstairs. One of my oils that we have, it's Guru Nanda. They have an immunity blend that has clove. It has the oil of oregano. It has, I think it has eucalyptus and peppermint. And cinnamon. It's very well-rounded, as it's like the thieves, but even like times a little bit more. So it's really powerful. I really think it's a good idea to diffuse oils in your house. So, doing a diffuser, and then also, salt lamps are very powerful it's about the ionization. So salt lamps will produce negative ions that can then minimize, pet dander and allergens. So that's good for keeping our sinuses clear, especially during this allergy season. We had some voting on Instagram where people were saying that they weren't sure if they were having allergies or symptoms of the virus, and that's very confusing. Also, and I posted this the other day, the Himalayan salt nasal infuser. This has lavender, it has sea salt, and it really, really is good. And you literally inhale it. Oh, it's got some menthol. I mean, it really opens up and gets drainage going. And I definitely for sure have some allergies. I also did eat a little dairy-based yogurt today. So that's the other reason why I'm having a little nasal stuff. But overall, saline solution is also a powerful tool for lubricating your sinuses and bolstering your immunity and just protecting your passageways. When we have dry sinuses, we're more susceptible for viral and bacterial invasion. So lubricating the sinus passages is key. We have a comment here. This is really great. Thanks, JP So-So. Walmart online is selling a 2-pack of 70% alcohol, only one to a customer. Oh, that's good to know. I'm going to write that down. I always think it's good to have alcohol. And you guys have asked for me to do a video on that kind of cleansing process. Okay. Are there more than one amino acids? If so, which ones do we take? Yes, there's actually a whole bunch of them. L-lysine, L-arginine, L-theanine, L-tryptophan. There's usually about 14 to 16 that you can honestly find in a lot of your, like Bragg's has an amino acid blend. I love that because a lot of people, like I work with dietary imbalances and folks that, are eating protein, but their body's not breaking it down. Amino acids actually help break that down. And so if you consume, animal-based protein or even plant-based protein, you're not breaking it down, you could, smear on some Bragg's amino acids, and that will help your body break down the protein so you can assimilate it. So that is helpful. Okay, so we got aromatherapy. And 5, I want to talk a little bit about, this is in the kind of antiviral category, but it's also immune boosting. There's a whole brand, and I actually have some of it here. I've got my little war chest of stuff. There's a brand called Host Defense. And they have, it's a blend of an assortment. Sometimes it's a single ingredient, and then others like this, My Community, is just a blend of a whole bunch of mushrooms, chaga, a whole bunch of immune, respiratory supportive, immune supportive, stress supportive mushrooms that help, like this one has 17 species in it, and they're an assortment of prebiotic fibers, immune supportive herbs and compounds like lion's mane, turkey tail, oyster mushroom, maitake. They have cordyceps, reishi. I think I mentioned chaga before, but it's really powerful. I was exposed to them when I had my deep immune imbalance in my early 20s and have never looked back. Like this really bolstered my immunity. And I've got links down below. We actually have, there's a spray. I'm going to link to the spray. It's called Myco Shield. It's pretty intense. Like it's got this peppermint kind of oil to it, but it also has some immune balancing and antiviral properties. And I just spray it. Like I've got my kit in my car, and, you know, I did 2 drive-through pharmacy experiences in the last like 3 days where I got out and about with Gabriel. And that's what I just pumped in my mouth because I was, you know, I was paying and getting items through the Walgreens little drive-through, which, by the way, our Walgreens posted a sign and said that they will be providing groceries and medical supplies and things in the store that were essential necessities, right? So milk, baby food, diapers, you know, snacks and items for individuals, any medical, like off the shelf, you know, over the counter, OTC. They are, at least our local Walgreens, and I'm sure this is national, they are doing business through the drive-through. So you don't have to worry about going in. The other thing to note with the pharmacies is that they have waived the time frame of your refills. And if you call your pharmacy, you can even look at getting 90-day supplies. In the event that the pharmacist can't reach your doctor, they'll fulfill you know, necessary medicines. And I've mentioned that you definitely want to have that. If you are on medication, for a lot of you who have autoimmunity, it's a good idea to keep all of your medicine on hand in a greater supply than you needing to be out and about. Okay, so is shiitake mushroom grown in the US? Yes, I believe it is. I have some local, back at home, some local farmers that grew it. And I've even seen some that have done hydroponic. So let's see, Jody Fro Gunderson, I just received my host defense yesterday. Oh, so good. All right, so Ripple My Nipple says, my 12 scripts for testosterone, only 1 was filled. I think that's a joke, so I'm laughing. Thanks. Okay. So the other thing that I want to mention, Host Defense, they actually have a respiratory support product. Again, I posted that link down below. So in the event, this would be really great for individuals that have asthma, you have COPD, you know, you may have had, like for many of our viewers, we actually have folks that are in cleaning businesses, they're doing like pesticide work. If you're working with chemicals, the likelihood of lung, and even if you're a smoker, respiratory, or have been a smoker and you've stopped, respiratory support is very good for bolstering the lungs. And I really like that as a recommendation for a lot of my folks. They also have, within that, there are some good prebiotics that support our healthy gut. I think that's fantastic. Next up, I want to talk to you about sleep, because most of us are at home, so we can take advantage of sometimes breaks to take a little nap. We can go to bed a little bit earlier, and because we're not commuting, we're gaining more time. Most of us commute, right? Anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half or more one way. Use that extra time to sleep. And sleep is so rejuvenating. Sleep is one of our best defenses against a viral bacterial invasion. It helps us minimize our feeling run down, especially in stressful states. And I've highlighted this a few times. This is what I'm using, this REM sleep by Healthy Cell. This has actually been created by a functional medicine doctor. His name is Dr. Pompa. He's up in New Jersey. He's like the leading guy in stem cell research here. This is a very full-fledged, powerful, potent blend of herbs. It's a blend of amino acids. Mark, it's got additional ones in here. There are nerve tonics in here. It has valerian. It has a little melatonin, but it has neurotransmitter balancers like GABA, and it has 5-HTP, which is a precursory compound that builds and helps boost our serotonin. So for folks that are used to being on the go, and like the idea of being homebound is on its own isolating and anxiety producing, the 5-HTP is great for minimizing potential depression, because it is very common when we're stressed, we're isolated, we're alone, we can't go out and do our normal things, for us to have some changes in just the way our brain is processing. And REM sleep is fantastic. So it's a gel pack. I kind of rip it off, and you can add this to water. You can do a, fizzy water or like coconut water. I also give this to Gabriel. He doesn't obviously take a whole pack, but I do like a little, 5 milliliter syringe. It has hops, and it also has magnolia bark. So magnolia bark is a plant-based compound that helps decrease our cortisol levels. Cortisol is a hormone produced by our adrenal glands that is created in response to stress. It's our fight or flight response. And it's a chronic state of that. So when we're in this limbo land, unknowns and uncertainties, how long are we going to be in this? I'm sick and tired of being at home. I'm sick and tired of being with my partner, like my coworker. I saw somebody said, post image or post comments about your coworker. It could be your furry friend, your dog, your pet, or your kids, or husbands or whatever. But like your coworker is, licks their butt all the time and passes gas, or funny kind of things. But what's really funny is that in the state of that, like we're being close, but sometimes it can really weigh on people, and it can really be mentally trying. And so this is REM sleep. I love this. I'm recommending this for everybody, and it works out to be like a packet's like $1.30 or $1.45, and you can do 10 days to try it out. You can do a full month. So there's a link down below in the description box. Instagram, if you want to DM me, I can send you that link. But do practice nap time. Rejuvenating naps of 20 minutes are powerful. If you're having trouble sleeping, there are really good like yoga, like sleep yoga. There are even certain meditations where they're using sound waves. So you can have your like little beats or headphones on, and it's literally impacting sound waves that are balancing to our brain. So there's a lot you can do if you can minimize the stress and just get yourself sleeping. And that was the biggest complaint. I had a lot of you say, I watch the news, I'm stressed out, I can't sleep. The challenge is that we have to turn it off sometimes and limit that exposure to minimize that. And that goes into my last one, number 7. We have to work on our sleep, and we have to, exercise is often an outlet for a lot of people, and our exercise has changed. So that is one thing that I think is really important to note, is that if you can set up a private gym, or a little gym station in your home, and you can be very adventurous with the different pieces that you're using, but working out, walking, get out, with your fur friends and walk them more. They're happy you are home. I've noticed in being home, our home is dirtier. I don't know if you guys experience that. We have 3 humans that are at home all the time now. And oh my gosh, so I'm running my air filters more. And so, some of the things that we can minimize are the things that we can't control. Just let it go. Sometimes it's a mental state, thinking through the state of where we're at. And I think also would be, I think it's important to just take a breather, just take a step back. Everything is a cycle. And so we will get through this, and we will get past this. We're going to get through it together. I'm going to be here with you every step of the way, every morning at 9 a.m. You're going to see my sunshiny face, even if I'm feeling blah, just like you. I'm going to work through it, because we will be okay. So prices of air filters have gone up significantly. Any advice? I haven't dug into that. Let me make a note of that. Let me see if some of my vendors, I can't imagine they would, but what I am noticing is really making me mad are price gougers. Even on Amazon, like we saw something like Brian has these snacks that he likes. They're not always the healthiest, but I'm like, okay, he's got to have his normal, and we have to have our normal. And so I'm like, okay, he wants these snacks, and they're at Target, but they're not at Target. You can't buy them online. And so I went on Amazon, and I was like, Brian, how much? Because he buys these usually. I'm like, how much do you usually pay for it? And he's like, well, it's 8 of these like strawberry grain bar things. And he was like, $2.89. I'm like, they're listing it for like $12. Price gouging. That is illegal. And if you find somebody doing that, The Attorney General of the US did identify that they're going to go after people who are in that category for sure, in like the medical masks and things like that. But I think it's worthy, if you do see a vendor, especially online, contact your state attorney general's office. I actually worked on the floor when I was in college. I wanted to be an attorney, and I worked at the AG's office. And I was on the floor of some of the, there was a hotline that sometimes at lunchtime I'd cover. And so we'd take calls in from people. They'd say, this gas station on the corner of blah, 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 and like Daytona Beach is $3, more, or not $3. It's like usually 20, 30, 40 cents. But, that's price gouging over, thousands of gallons. So, and we would have a list. We put in a little spreadsheet. Now they have databases. This is way back 25 years ago. But do know that that's something that is being monitored. So, do feel free to take that into consideration. But stress, I want to share with you some things that I am implementing in my own life for stress that are easy to get. Kava Tea, yogis are friendly tea. It gives us beautiful messages. Yogi has a Kava stress relief tea. You can buy these in like 3 or 4 packs on Amazon. I've got a link down below. I love this brand. They also are at Target. They're at your local grocery stores, and they're at like Sprouts and Fresh Market, all via my Instacart. I've had them deliver more to me. But it is this wonderful little tea bag. It's this cute little purple tea bag. And I drink this throughout the day. So, either my keto coffee or my bone broth is in the morning. And then I move into the Kava stress relief tea. And it has carob, it has Indian sarsaparilla, cinnamon bark, ginger, kava root, cardamom. I love cardamom. So great. Hazelnut. It has toasted brown rice, stevia, licorice, and cinnamon bark oil. This is awesome. And Kava is a nerve tonic. It's a central nervous system tonic. It calms down the body, especially if you're feeling like your heart racing, you're feeling heightened stress. You've got like I've had a lot of people email me. They're hearing like the heart beating in their ear, like when they lay down. That's stress. So Whitney, Vita Costa's yogi tea as well. Bergamot will help with depression. I love that. Okay, so we have a few questions. Let's see. So Forever Grateful, my replacement filters on Amazon went from 12 to 18. We opted for house filters, double duck place behind. Oh, you know what? I think I know why. Okay, so to the note of like replacement filters, a DIY face mask would be using the filtration of the HEPA. Like, so if you are a frontline worker, you could take one of the sewn masks, and they usually have an insert for a filter. I think what we're seeing is the demand for the filters increasing so that people could cut them up and put them in and use that as a protective mask. So that's probably one of the reasons the demand, supply demand component. Not that that's okay, but I think that's why you might be seeing that. Anita says, sleep is a safety issue for me. Looking forward to receiving this product. I totally understand. And, Anita is one of our truckers. She's, tell us how many hours are you driving in total, and how long, like, what's your kind of blocking of driving? Like, how frequently are you taking breaks? Okay. Oh, thanks, Anita. Yes, please hit the like button and share. Appreciate it. But yeah, Forever Grateful. That's what I'm thinking, because I've seen a lot of people talking about that. Okay, so stress. The other thing, you guys know, I love Tulsi, which is an Ayurvedic herb, and I love rhodiola. And this bad boy, tea. So tea is so great because you can drink it throughout the day. You stay hydrated, but you're giving yourself more power than just water. So you've got water plus herbals, and herbals are medicinal in their boosting potential within your body. Stress-wise, rhodiola helps us deal with mental and physical stress. This is one of the most researched adaptogens. That's what the category of herbs that it is. Both of these herbs are in. They help the body adapt to everyday stressors. So, for instance, like yesterday, after I got off our wonderful chat, I wrapped up my video and I went upstairs, and then my child had a complete and total meltdown. We had to make Play-Doh, and our teacher God lover, not really cognizant of the fact that like I am not hoarding supplies, but I am definitely using like flour and salt to make bread. I'm not doing it now, but I plan on it when things really lock down and my supplies right now go low. And we were given like the 7-step Play-Doh recipe, and he had a meltdown about Play-Doh. Well, guess what? I broke out my tea and I was like, I need to deal with like the mental stress of him stressing out and not being able to be right there and touch his friends. And he did circle time, and it's a trigger. Like he misses his friends. Every morning they do like a little Zoom process. And so he sees his favorite buddies and his teachers, and then he gets emotional, and it's hard for our little ones. So I am going to start kind of putting this into the mommy cookie mix that, by the way, that's out and live. If you want my mommy cookie recipe, I actually posted it on last night's video. It was an oat milk video on YouTube. There's a link you can grab my download. So I share with you how to make oat kefir from scratch, as well as my mommy cookies. But anyway, I'm going to use this next time. So I'll brew this up, and instead of just water, mixing with the flax to make like a gelatinous kind of egg alternative, I'm going to use brewed Tulsi and rhodiola tea and mix that in. And those will be what he gets every morning, because right now we're going full on mommy cooking at home. And so I did this humongous batch on Sunday with him. And so we got mommy cookie. He's going to have a mommy cookie. He's going to have yogurt with the rhodiola. My further foods, I got more of my chocolate powder with reishi mushroom in it. So, you know, I'm using this also for him. The name of the tea, it's called Super Adapt Tea, and it's stress suppress. And in the comment box below for YouTube, I have my Amazon. It's on Amazon. There's an Amazon link. And by the way, those links do support my channel because of the demonetization. That's what is financing our time together. So I appreciate you just going through those links. Even if you don't want to buy any of this, if you have to do your everyday Amazon shopping, you going through that link, Amazon pays a commission on that. So I appreciate that. You can rewatch this video. On YouTube, it's just in the YouTube content. On Instagram, it's only live for 24 hours. And if you go into the stories, there's a button where you can see my stories, or live, you can replay it. But all of these are housed on YouTube. So when they go off of Instagram, they are always on YouTube. That's why I've got both of these things up. And I'd encourage you, I think we're on our 10th show. So go back, go over on YouTube, YouTubers. You can watch all of these here. So, okay, so Super Adapt Tea. And then I want to show you my other favorite. It's a neuroscience calm tea. This manages the cortisol. So this kind of controls cortisol through really 4 compounds. It's a particular leaf, and then it has some amino acids that help balance the neurotransmitters, and that's huge. Okay, so let's see. I think we've got some comments here. And thanks, Pat. She's encouraging everybody to hit the like button. 130 are watching, so please hit the like button. Tulsi tea, love the raspberry flavor. Okay, so Anita, our driver, she's driving about, 11 to 15 hours per day, required to take a 10-hour sleep break after every shift. Been dropping one load in AM, then picking up next load in PM, rolling on. So Anita's our trucker giving us the data. And so I'm curious, are you noticing the roads? Are there less people on the road? And I'm curious what that's going to look like in the Atlanta area. So Super Adapt Tea is the name. Instagram, you guys are going off in 42 seconds. So I will just keep you guys there because I'm just wrapping up. So friends, those are my 7 tips. I hope this was helpful. Tomorrow, I'm going to be working on our content again. I'm going to try and I've got to do a lot of shooting today, but this is all in, I'm in this world where I'm balancing like Gabriel, Brian's schedule. We've got a one-on-one with his teacher, so that takes a little bit of time. And then like we're cooking 3 meals a day, which is a lot of time. So anybody else having a challenge like balancing all of this? I feel like it could be more productive, but I'm not. So thanks, Instagram. You guys are tuning off. See you tomorrow at 8 or 9 a.m. Okay. See you guys later. All right. So Instagram's off. I'm going to share that story. And by the way, if you guys are on Instagram, if you aren't, please follow me. I'm definitely active over there in my communication. Okay, so Ardell says, here we have PPP, secret mission, plan, prepare, penetrate. We use this for world domination. Okay. Pat, oh, thanks for doing that. Okay, so that, do you guys have any other questions? I want to go through this and in specific questions to this type of content. Let's see, I'm just going through. Oops, oh, the dog's freaking out. We have more people. That's my white dog. Mizuki. We have a lot of people walking our cul-de-sac, and my white dog is the Uber. She's part Great Pyrenees, so she goes into like this full-on like protection mode. She sounds fierce. She's the laziest dog ever. But the only time she gets engaged is when people come to the door. She's been way more active. She sleeps more because like she's in that attack mode with every mail delivery, every FedEx, UPS drop off, Amazon delivery, food delivery. Okay, so Marina, good question. Is vodka a good replacement for alcohol because we can't find, it depends. So you don't want like grain alcohol. What they found is that 90 to 100% alcohol will actually fortify the shell. It literally preserves it, the viral shell. So you don't want to do that. Like, a pure grain alcohol would not be good. But if you found something that's like 70, 75% alcohol, and I just don't know a lot about the alcohol things that are out there to know like what would be good for you or not good for you, but that fall into that category. We don't really drink a whole lot of alcohol, so I don't know. Let's see. All right, so homemade kefir, also a good way to preserve milk. That's a great idea. And Dale, I actually posted my kefir recipe, so I have that up on yesterday's video. So friends, I'm seeing if I got any. Oh, okay. So Anita said roads are much clearer, mostly trucks, but seem like the car drivers that are there are a bit more hasty and dangerous than usual. Probably jerks. We have bad drivers in Atlanta, and we have a family of road rage here. Brian honks to like fix people off. I'm like, you're gonna have some crazy lunatic like pull out a gun. So okay. So here's the thing, friends. I want to just urge you to protect yourself, protect your family. And I want you to think about what are you doing or how are you going to get outside today? So, every day I want to task you with something else to try out and try new. So today I want you to do something outside if you can. We've had snow in some areas. It's kind of yucky and rainy here. But do something outside that gets you out. It gets you breathing fresh air. Maybe it's opening up some windows and bringing the air inside. But definitely, I would encourage you to get out of our little cocoon here. Stay socially distant of your community members, because not everybody's being respectful of that. But definitely do get out there and be engaging in your yard, in your kind of natural space. Get near trees, feed some birds and squirrels. They'll be extremely happy. I encourage you to do that. So tomorrow we'll go live again at 9 a.m. As always, I'm grateful for your participation. Love the thumbs up. More thumbs up, please. Share. And by the way, go back once this gets all wrapped up, when the video goes on my YouTube channel, because the live chat is not the commenting box. The comment box, if you could go back and just comment, even like 3 or 4 words, and like a thumbs up, that also boosts the algorithm, and I'll just comment back. So I try to do that in the first hour that it posts, because that's some algorithmic magic. But I appreciate it. So Yeah, so stay safe, stay well. Anita, be safe. And for sleep, do consider checking out the REM sleep product link down below. Okay, friends, I will see you tomorrow. Be well. I'll see you guys later. Oops, sorry, I hope you understand. Oh, I don't know what happened. Okay, bye, friends.